Hello and welcome. This is Michelle with Paper Stamping. Thanks for stopping by today, where I'm going to share with you a fun card, quick and simple, with the Everything Amazing stamp set. So this is the card we're going to be working on today. This is another one that I made with this card, and I've got a third one coming up in this series that I will be posting shortly as well. So I will link this previous card down, the link to that video on the previous card down below in the description, so you can check that one out as well. And this is the one we'll be doing today, so I'm going to set this aside. And before I jump into making the card, I want to remind you that if you want to get notifications of future videos from me, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell. That way you'll know whenever new items come into my video library. So let's go ahead and get started with this. Let's grab our paper Stampin' ink, and I will have all these measurements on my blog, so don't worry about what colors, what details. I will put a link to that below, and you can step on over there to get all of the details. But I'm going to be using Mango Melody and a Blueberry Bushel. I love, and of course some Whisper White. I love this color combination for masculine cards. I just think it's a fun combination, and some of the colors I feel trend a little feminine, so this is kind of one of my go-tos if I'm not sure what colors to grab out if I need a masculine card. And so let's go over our measurements. We have, this is our standard 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 to create our card base. I then have this Whisper White panel to put on the inside, which is 4 by 5 1/4. I like to make sure I line my colored cardstock with Whisper White. It just makes it so much easier to write on and to stamp something in the inside. And then I have this piece of Whisper White that we're going to use for our stamping, and that's 3 by 4. And this is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 in the Blueberry Bushel. So that's all of our paper, not a whole lot going on there. Our stamp set, Everything Amazing. And I love this stamp set because, one, it fills up your card front very quickly. So you don't need a lot of extra things, but you can add them if you want to. We have all these sentiments that you can mix and match. So you get your amazing stamp here, and then you have these spots that you can put these different word sets in. So, you know, you are an amazing friend, wishing you an amazing birthday. You will do amazing things. I haven't played around with some of my other stamp sets, but I'm sure I'm going to find some other words that I have from other sentiment stamps or other sets that I can put in here too. So when I do that, I'll make sure that I create another video for you guys sharing some of that inspiration. And then we have all of these fun other stamps that are included to dress up our card, like I did today using the star for the background. So that is the Everything Amazing. It is a photopolymer stamp set. And then I did bring in some of this Blueberry Bushel gross grain ribbon. So I just wanted something a little different for the trim. And, you know, I'm going to go ahead and I want to talk to you guys a little bit today as we're going through this about my process on making this card. I don't always go into a card and have it all ready in my head and design. Sometimes it's just kind of a process of playing with things. So our inks, we're going to again use the Mango Melody and the Blueberry Bushel. Love that we can get all these coordinating colors with Stampin' Up. It just makes things so simple. So when I was doing this card, I knew that I wanted this color combination. And I knew I wanted to do a lighter base for the card. So I did go ahead and grab this base, my liner, and I grabbed this piece, and I figured I was going to mat it, so I grabbed this piece of cardstock as well. And oops, I've already got this mounted. I don't need to open that up. I've gone ahead and pre-mounted these stamps. Now, because these stamps do need to line up, I'm going to give you a little tip. If you have trouble lining your stamp sentiments up and having them straight, use your grid paper. It's wonderful for that. So I just put my stamp down, make sure it's lined up with one of these lines, these cross lines, horizontal lines, and then I can put my block on, and I can use these additional grid lines to help me ensure that that block is square as well. And that makes lining things up with this stamp so much simpler. So make sure you use that. I'm going to grab my Pearson Stampin' Pierce mat and bring that in. On these large stamps, I want to use the method of bringing the ink pad to the block, and I'm really wanting to make sure I've got good coverage. I'm probably way overdoing it, but I don't know, that I just tend to do that with these larger sentiment pieces and stamp pieces. So bringing that ink pad to the block is much easier than going this way. I love the photopolymer because I can see that, hey, it looks like I've got a good coverage there. And I'm going to line this up. I am using that piercing mat because these are photopolymer. And I'm going to carefully place that down. Give it a nice press. And then peel that off. And there we've got our amazing. And let's close that up before I get ink on something I don't want to get ink on. Not that you guys ever do that. It's probably just me, but now I need to do that. So I'm going to open up my blueberry bushel here, and let's go ahead and finish off this panel. I've got the "You Will Do," and I'm going to try really hard to get this centered and keep this on camera for you without getting my head in the way. It is much easier to stamp the sentiment when you can go right down over the top of it. The photopolymer allows us to line those up much easier. And then I've got my things to go down here. There we go. You will do amazing things. So before I adhere things down, I like to play with the layouts on my cards. So I took this and I thought, well, that's pretty large. There's not much I can do other than the center of that, or as I did on this card, it fits great crosswise. But I knew I wanted to play with a different layout, so I thought I want it to go this direction. I want to have a landscape style card, and that just looked a little too structured, I guess, to me. So I thought, well, what can I do with this? Bring in my detailed trio punch. And so that was step one. And so I thought, let me bring that in and round off 2 of the corners. So let's go ahead and do that. You could round off 1, all 4, 3 of them. I just decided to go with the 2. This time I'm going to come and do that as well. Just make sure that if you want this look, you're doing 2 opposite corners. And I'm going to use my Mono Multi-Glue to go ahead and adhere that down. Now, if you're not familiar with the detailed trio punch, it's not only a wonderful corner rounder, but it's got these other fun punches as well. You've got your little hole punch, so great for threading ribbon through. And then we've got this detailed punch that is great for just kind of a fancier edge, I guess, on a corner that you can get with that. Again, this being a masculine card, I didn't want to go too girly with the more the floral image, so I chose the corner rounding. And I looked at it and I thought, well, that's kind of dull. Fine, but I wanted a little bit more, and this would have been just fine the way it was. If you're going for quick or simple, I just always seem to like to have a little something else going on. So I thought, well, maybe I will put some background images on. So I am pulling in, I need to put this over here. I'm going to be reaching across the camera the whole time. So then I'm going to pull in these stars. And I just went through and rotated that around, going off the card base some. You can do as many or as few of these as you like. I find the rotating and the going off the base keeps it from just being too looking too structured to me, or too planned. And I'm not going to go all the way into the center of this because our panel with the sentiment is going to cover that up. So while I'm stamping this, I want to share with you a couple of exciting things that are going on right now. Stampin' Up! Is having bonus days in July. And the great thing with that is for every $50 that you spend on product, so that's before shipping and taxes, you earn a $5 coupon to purchase items to go towards purchases in August. You can earn as many of those coupons as you would like. So there's no limit on it. You get for every $50. Now, I will tell you, however, if you're going to be spending quite a bit, the other great thing that is going on right now is our discount shopper program is an even better deal than normal. So if you are ever spending $100 or more at a time, I highly recommend you consider becoming a discount shopper. You can also consider becoming a demonstrator. It's the same sign-up process. You don't have to run this as a business, though. I want to make sure you know that. If you just want to be a discount shopper, that is totally fine. If you want to run it as a business, I am more than happy to help you with that as well, and would love to share with you ideas and help you get your business off the ground. So that program, it's $99 is the normal price, and normally you get $125 of free product that you can pick. So the nice thing is you get to pick whatever you want from the catalog. So it's not a pre-designed kit, and you get, whatever they want to give you. With Stampin' Up!, you get to select the items, so you can base it off of what you already have in your craft room instead of ending up with duplicates. So it's normally you get $125, but during the bonus days, it's oh my goodness, I think it's $150. I'm gonna put that down. It just had a little brain cramp, but you get a better deal. I think it's $150 of stuff that you get during bonus days. So that is down. I will make sure that I put that down in the description to verify that amount for you guys. If you're interested in that, you can definitely hop on over to my website, and I will put that link below. It's the same place where all of these measurements will be, and you can sign up for that. And what that does is also gives you 20% off of all your future purchases. So it's a great deal. And that is how I got started as a discount shopper. And then I loved it and decided to make it more of a business. So again, I took this just kind of going through my thought process, and I thought, well, that's pretty good, but I wanted something a little bit more to break up those stars. So that's where I brought the square screen ribbon in, and thought I want to put some of those across that panel. And so to do that, I'm just going to run a thin bead of this down the center. And I think I might need a little bit longer on there. I'm not worrying if I go over, because I'd rather have too much than too little, and I'm just going to trim these pieces off when I'm done. So I'll start with one right there. And when I'm working in embellishments, and I consider ribbon to be an embellishment, I like to work in odds. Now, this being such a thin piece of trim, sometimes I will put only one piece of ribbon across, and that would definitely work. But I thought, I kind of would like to play with having a little bit more on there. So I decided to go with 3s. You could go with however many you want. Definitely able to do that. So if you want to place an order and you don't want to sign up to be a discount shopper, I would really appreciate your support in my business by using the host code and ordering from my website. I would love the opportunity to earn your business, and I hope that you appreciate the video tutorials that I put out sharing products and projects. And your support through purchases and watching my videos allows me to continue to do so. All right, let's put one more on there. And I do have at least one more card planned that I will be doing another tutorial on, and I hope to get that out in the next week. I've got sometimes more ideas than I have time to get done. I think everybody's got that in their life in some way or another, right? We've got lots of things, and it's choosing which ones we're going to focus on. I have to remind myself to stop spending so much time sometimes playing, and I'm not worried about if these are lined up perfectly in the middle. And I guess, you know, if I really wanted to save on my embellishments and my ribbon, I could have just not even adhered them in that middle part there. That would have been totally fine to do, but I just find this much easier to have it lined up. I'm going to use these adhesive strips instead of my regular dimensionals for a large panel like this. I just find it easier to do that. And these are great. You can cut these strips down, and don't forget when you're done, make sure you use these outer pieces too. Same with your dimensionals. Don't ever throw away those extra outside pieces. We want to use those up as well. Get everything we can out there. And don't have my take your pick tool over here. Should have had that handy. That would make this so much easier. That little piercing edge to get right under and take these strips off. But there we go. I got it done. I'm going to come on in here, and I'm just going to center that panel up. I'm going to open this up and just give these a little trim using the edge of the card as a guide. Oops. A little strand there. All right. And then the last thing we're going to do is I just want to decorate up this inside panel a little bit. So I thought it'd be fun to put these stars down. This pad is fairly new still, so it's quite juicy. If you see, I've got all of that color on my ink block. I've got to be very careful not to press that down on there. So when you've got your new ones, don't push as hard onto the this ink pad as I was doing there. I was given a little bit more gusto than I needed to. So there we go. There we have our card. You will do amazing things. This would be great for a graduation card, somebody who's accomplished a goal at work. Maybe they're trying out for a sports team or something. All sorts of great uses for this. So that's our You Will Do Amazing Things. And I've got one more card, at least on this video series. So I hope you'll tune in. I'm also going to be sharing some paper pumpkin inspiration of alternative projects, as well as some other new items from the catalog. So I hope that you enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, comment. I love to hear what you guys have to say. If there's something you want me to share about a process, a technique, or a stamp set, make sure you drop me a line. You can always get a hold of me through my website or at PaperStampInk@gmail.com. Thanks, and have a great day. Until we talk again, make sure you grab your paper, stamp, and ink and do something creative.